do you think it's actually doing more harm than good when somebody's in such a place of fear and panic that they're trying to fight exclusively just the external, and they're kind of to the detriment of their own even physical health? Is that
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
more harm
yeah.
than good?
I love that question because, see, there's some quote attributed to the Buddha about no one deserves more love on this planet than you do. And so when we sacrifice or compromise our own inner health, emotionally, spiritually, physically, for the sake of saving others, there's something about that calculus it's inverted, because that's implying that your life and your equanimity and your power is less, relevant than those who you perceive to be disempowered. So I think it's more about the calculus of, again, cultivating as much internal power, equanimity, peace, love, intelligence, abundance as you can as a node in this magical tapestry.
Yeah.
And then from there, the cup overflows. And then there is this ability, you give as much as you can. And oh my God, is that really giving? Because you feel so good when you're truly giving to somebody. That's what life is about spiritually, the joy you feel.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it just magnifies. Oh my God, now because of the great people I've met, yourself included, I just out of the blue get people just send me love, or they hold us in a type of energy
Yeah.
that protects us, because they're literally ghouls and spooks that are like breathing down my neck, trying
Yeah.
to delete me. And do I feel comfortable in the world, with kids and being a free man when I know there's that many enemies?
Yeah.
Well, because I have that many friends and good people that I know are holding this beautiful energy for me. And that's what I think it's about.
Yeah, that's powerful, man. So it's like this idea where we're not sacrificing ourselves, but we're also not putting ourselves exclusively on the pedestal and drawing a fence around what we will stand for. When we're standing for health freedom, we're standing for mankind. It's everyone. It's all, right? But doing that from a place of like not lack but fullness. Like I mentioned I'm doing some meditations. Shunya Murti, who's on one of my favorite teachers right now in consciousness. He's on the summit, and he has some on his member section on his website, which I highly recommend. He has some guided meditations in addition to like talks and stuff. So I've been doing those, and the days that I start with like a 10-minute meditation and just like quietening the mind, and then like you get the artificial obstacles out of the way, and automatically the natural flow and the natural order and the who we really are beyond these spacesuits actually, like, you can start to touch it, and then you
Mm.
can start to feel that bliss, that
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
and then that informs how your day goes
yeah,
from that point.
yeah.
And then it's a different flavor, it's a different, and I find the work that I do in that space, and when I pray and when I intend, that has a more powerful creative lasting effect. And the work that I do from a place of, oh, I got to get this email, or I got to
Yes,
respond to this thing, and then that almost falls flat. It's like this
yes.
feedback mechanism that we're being guided to be real at this time.
That's very powerful. That's my experience, because I've come to understand that we are fundamentally, by default, a bliss technology. And what is bliss really? It's just this incredible expansiveness and feeling of, if not union, at least a feeling of being this font of abundance and joy that just wants to share. And so what happens though is, because of so much trauma, from micro traumas, often in just even our closest intimate relationships with family and friends, to, the government and all the things, corporations and all the agendas that are being installed in us, we have identified, because, so, okay, what happens, you get the trauma and you somaticize it into your, quote, body armor, and it feels like this is what you are. And so you get so attached to this. In fact, you think that if you lose that feeling of non-expansive merger, that you're going to die. And you start identifying your trauma as who you are and what makes you safe, versus the default ocean of oneness that you are, which would then feel like terrifying, until you really let go and are willing to die literally, and realize that that's actually more like a feeling of eternal life. And that is, I think, our default. And that's what happens with orgasmic birth. That's what happens when you're brought into the world, not being reflected that you're just a meat suit to be, ground away in this machine. So I think a lot of us are coming back to that. And so the point here for the activists among us is that when you're doing this work, it could be deep somatic therapy or emotional release or clarity breath work or medicine, you are healing the world like that. But it starts here. It's not something you have to justify in your mind, or you calculate by how many people opted into the Stand for Health Freedom campaign, you know, or my likes on Instagram, because that's how we, you know, that's how we evaluate our progress these days. But there's a deeper layer that you can enter that you won't even need an external metric, you know, to measure yourself by.
Yeah, and it has to do with, I mean, the currency is really integrity now, isn't it? Realness, integrity, authenticity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good. I like that. In fact, that is the real money right there.
yeah,
That's it. Because we're going to be left with pretty much nothing. And actually, I've come to the realization as well in this window that this is an opportunity as the fiat system implodes and dies, thank God, because it's basically the worst, most evil Ponzi scheme that's ever existed, made to enslave everybody and feed endless war and terrorism on the planet.
mhm,
When that thing implodes, what's left is real value again. Like what gift do you have? What skill can you contribute? How do you share that? And then guess what? There's this thing called equity and balance. When you give, whether they even want to or not, they're going to want to give back because it's human nature to
yeah.
give and receive and love. That is the new economy, and it's not going to be denominated in dollars or even in Bitcoin. You know, it's a more spiritual type of currency.
Voluntarist, contributionist.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
Exactly.